And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your friend Cheap Loot. It's more news, more problems. It's interesting that 2K dropped news of early release packs a mere hour after I released my prediction video, which, to comment on the prediction video real quick, because I was not exactly wrong about the players necessarily. I actually got a few of them right, which is cool. Well, one of them. I got one of them right. I don't know why I said a few. Still confident about my predictions for Friday. But I was wrong because I forgot literally it's Thanksgiving this weekend, and they're releasing the packs on Monday and Wednesday, not Tuesday and Friday this week. I totally spaced on that. I really do not care about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving food is like super overrated. Cranberry sauce whack, turkey's whack. Turkey is like an F tier bird, if I'm being honest. Like, not even just from a taste profile, but just from like being a bird. It's a trash creature in general. And it doesn't even taste good. It's dry. Ugh. I'm just not a big fan of Thanksgiving food, I'll be honest. I like macaroni and cheese. Is that surprising to anyone who knows me in any way, shape, or form? No. But we did get some news. We got packs actually coming tomorrow. So we got the glitch packs coming tomorrow. So that's cool. Obviously, you can see on the screen right here, we got 3-point shooting glitch Dwight Howard, who can play power forward, which is a horrifying thought. Now, we actually don't have a Dwight Howard for reference this year. And typically, we have like a gold Dwight Howard from the past couple years, but he's actually not in the NBA right now. So we actually don't know what his jump shot is going to be. So I'm kind of curious to see what's up with that. But the fact that he can play power forward leads me to believe that he's essentially just going to be a better version of Alonzo Mourning. So people are already running Alonzo Mourning at power forward, kind of running a Twin Towers type beat down in the post, running like, you know, Hakeem or Kareem next to like an Alonzo Mourning for paint stop purposes. You're only going to see more of that with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is going to be Alonzo Mourning that's going to be able to stretch the floor, which is going to be absolutely terrifying, if I'm being honest. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, the dunking Scott Skiles that I predicted is not accurate. So that's a bummer, but Dwight Howard is going to be cracked. Normally when I do these reveals, it's like I talk about the little guys who get brought up, and then I talk about the pink diamond at the end, but the pink diamond's in the forefront this time. So I'm not going to watch the whole video. I'm just going to skim through it. But obviously, Dwight Howard is shooting threes, which is not good. It's going to be rough. Next up, we got Zaire Williams, which, I'll be honest, I'm not really too familiar with what he brings to the table, honestly. He'll probably be good. I'll look at his card in the database, and then we'll go to shoot around afterwards, and we'll test out some of the jump shots. But he looks good. I'm guessing it's a 3-point shooting Zaire based on the fact that he's shooting in the trailer. Good. There's a nice Chips Ahoy ad back there, too. Which, like, I saw a tweet earlier this week that said, like, who's keeping Chips Ahoy in business? And that's actually a really interesting thing to comment on, because, like, for real, who is out here buying Chips Ahoy cookies in the year of our Lord 2022? Like, come on. I mean, the chewy cookies are kind of gas, but, like, who's buying regular, crunchy Chips Ahoy cookies? Like, you need to go to jail, dude, if you're eating those for a snack. Gross, man. Then we got Joe Harris. I'm not really sure what this means. I'm guessing it's like an athleticism Joe Harris, which, like, I guess. I don't know. If that excites you, cool. Watch, you're going to have to get dunks with Joe Harris. That's going to suck, dude. That is going to suck. Joe Harris may look like a cousin of mine that I've never met deep down the line, and it's entirely possible that that's accurate, but Joe Harris is probably going to suck. Look, let's be real. Then we got shooting Isaiah Stewart. And look, the reason I don't get hyped on these Evos is just because the requirements are so cracked. This is essentially going to be the Steven Adams thing, just again. So, I mean, if you were down for that, then you got another one. But if you weren't down for that, like, ignore it as per usual. Should be all right. So we can look at the full set here. We got 3-point shooting, Isaiah Stewart, athleticism, Joe Harris. I think it could be defense, but I think it's athleticism. If it was defense, he'd be really good, by the way. Shooting Zaire Williams, I believe, being he was shooting in his promo, but who knows, really, at the end of the day. Then we got Stephon Marbury, which, if he is a glitched defense, Stephon Marbury, he's just going to be better Derrick Rose, basically. Like, the badge count's going to be significantly lower, but he's going to be better Derrick Rose, basically. Then we got 3-point shooting Dwight Howard, and I believe it looks like 3-point shooting Karis LeVert is in the building. I'm clapping for myself because I said we were going to get that, which is super funny. He'll actually be pretty good, to be honest. Like, at least in my opinion, anyway. Like, looking at where's Karis LeVert at? Here we go. 6'6", 6'10" wingspan at the shooting guard. Should be solid. I don't know much about his release, so we're going to test that out. But he has Michael Jordan dribble style, so he's going to be able to move really well. Luka's behind the back is good enough. Kobe escapes okay as well. He's got the pro leaner. I think most people like the normal leaner or prefer that anyhow, but I mean, it is what it is. The leaners are really more important on next gen. If you play on current gen, listening to people drone on about leaners is kind of irrelevant, just because leaners aren't really as overpowered as they are over on next gen. Everything else looks about right. I mean, he looks good. Like, he's going to be a relatively solid player. He could not be a three-point shooter, by the way. He could be defense, because his defense is heinous, so it's possible he's like a defensive glitch. But if his jump shot's okay and his defense is cracked out, like, the three-point shooting stuff will come too. So it's like interesting to see when it comes to Karis LeVert how good the card actually will be. Zaire Williams, we'll cover him in a second. Isaiah Stewart. Norm Nixon has his release. I don't know. I watched Ty get popped up by a Norm Nixon one time in one of his videos, so that was cool. He has a 58 shot three-pointer, so it shouldn't be quite as bad as Steven Adams. It's still not going to be good, though. Like, if you got the homie Jerry West boosted up to a 64, like, you could hit that for sure. Have a floor general out there, 68, off a dimer, you're at a 72. It's doable. Not saying it's going to be fun, but it's doable. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's 6'8" with a 7'4" wingspan. Fully evoed, he's probably going to be very similar to, like, Robert Williams with just, like, maybe a better jump shot. I don't know. I haven't used Isaiah Stewart base for any reason this year, so I'm not really sure. Then we got the homie Joe Harris, 6'6", 6'6" wingspan. I mean, his jump shot's fine. I get normally. He does have Michael Jordan dribble style and, like, Harden's behind the back, Kobe crossover. Like, he's got some okay moves, too. Like, he has a basic leaner, which I don't know if that's necessarily good. I think that's pretty bad, but it's all good. Plus, look at the homie Joe Harris. Like, Joe Harris pays 30 a G. 100%. Well, he did in college. He's, like, one of those guys that I feel like he was, like, hella Christian in high school, but then he went to college and started wilding out. You know what I mean? Grew a beard, started getting into loads of trouble. He gives me one of those kind of vibes, you know? I feel like we all know one of those kids who was real reserved in high school, slightly nerdy even. But nice enough, maybe a little tweaky. But then they go to college and all of a sudden, like, they're going to EDM festivals and, like, they're white guys wearing dashikis for no reason. And, like, you know what I mean? I feel like we all went to school with one of those guys, and Joe Harris gives me those vibes, 100%. That being said, if it is athleticism, I think he'll be solid, but his defense is going to be horrible, so I don't know if he'll be necessarily playable. And if it's defense, he'll actually be pretty good. I think he's just not going to rim run, so he's not going to be technically meta at that point. Then we got Zaire Williams. He's 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan. So, like, if it wasn't for his Evo most likely being horrible, and I'm guessing, like, based on his statistics, probably either three-point shooting or steal-based. I would assume steal-based because he's probably going to be a defensive guy. He would be really, really good. His release, the only other person that has him is Mac McClung, who this would have been a sick Evo card. Like, Mac McClung, 6'2" shooting guard, meta. Pure meta over here, dude. Wait, do they have Mac McClung on the 75 driving dunk? That's what's up. That is what's up, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. He looks good. Like I said, I'm going to go test out the jump shots real quick. So let's go over to Freestyle and see who has a meta jump shot and who doesn't. We'll kind of go from there. All right, check it out. So I got Derrick Rose out here just because, typically speaking anyway, they typically make Starberry just a Derrick Rose clone. Like, that can't dunk as well. Basically is what they usually do with Stephon Marbury, which I assume they're going to do this year. I could be totally wrong, but Derrick Rose's release is a tad bit on the slow side. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to really come out here and be like, oh yeah, it's a good or a bad release, just because Derrick Rose is my first trophy case player, and I've quite literally used him on my team the entirety of the game's lifespan, pretty much. So I can't really say one way or the other if it's just a release I'm very, very comfortable with, or if it's good. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, where it's kind of mid, and I think obviously there'll be a different upper. But regardless, if he has the same jump shot as Derrick Rose, I mean, it's at least not a bad jump shot. Let's check out the homie Isaiah Stewart real quick. Okay, it's got real Sean Marion energy. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't think he's gonna be the answer to a lot of people's problems. He's actually gonna be more similar to probably, yeah, I think he's probably gonna be more similar to Robert Williams than I was even remotely like confident I was close to. You know what I mean? The release is better for sure. Like, it's better, but he's probably going to be worse from a badge perspective. You know what? Actually, once you get this release timing down, this is kind of nice. Like, my man's got a 58. I'm kind of cracking these right now. So, you know what? Isaiah Stewart, barring his requirements being absolutely off the chain, he might be kind of nice. Like, the release is decent. But the problem with the release, though, is it's decent in this context where I'm out here just, like, chucking and shoot around. But he releases the ball at a very low point, especially for someone who's going to play power forward. So he's going to be easily contestable. So I'm not certain that this release is going to be great. But depending what his actual requirements are, he could be really good. Zaire Williams is somebody I'm really, really wanting to check out. What is going on there? That was interesting. My man had to flick. He said, watch me flick the wrist real quick. He said, check it. Okay, interesting. I mean, he looks like he's showing off like his new watch in the middle of his jump shot, so that's not exactly a good sign. It's kind of off-putting, if I'm being honest. It's not off-putting like Dick Barnett's, but it's not great. It's not cool. You know, it's not bad though. I like his headband. That's cool. I'm always down for somebody rocking the headband. So he seems to move all right too. That's the other thing. Like, he moves decent. Like, he's big too. He could be good also, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's an Evo card. Like, no one cares. You know, I don't even know I'm testing these jumpers out because I'm a purist. But I mean, it's greenable for sure. Certainly. It's not great, but it's definitely okay. Like, very, very aggressively okay. You know what I mean? So let's check out the homie Joe Harris. I'm pretty sure his release is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, the release is fine. It's Joe Harris. I mean, it's going to be a good release, but are you going to want to grind his challenges? No, absolutely not. So yeah, I probably wouldn't mess with that. Why'd I go to instant replay? I'm an idiot. Let's check out Karis LeVert, because this is the person I think has the most potential to be really good. A lot of cold zones for the homie Karis over here. I mean, it seems okay. Like, it seems very aggressively okay. I'm not certain that this is a release that I would say is great, but it's good. Like, it's good enough. I mean, he gets a nice jump on it, so it's like harder to contest. He releases it pretty high in the air. Actually, you know what? Depending what his glitch is and what his stats and badges are looking like we could actually see Karis LeVert be a very solid card because he moves relatively decent. Like, he's all right. He's fast. His release is easy enough to time. He might be a very solid budget 2 guard. Like, I still think someone like Tyler Hero is probably altogether better. But depending what his actual price is, we could see Karis LeVert be very, very good on an affordable budget. So the real question is, does this affect the market in any meaningful way? I would say because there's no point guard, especially not like a big point guard involved, probably not. Like, does this affect the price of like Hakeem, for example? No, I don't think so. Like, most people that are going to pick up Dwight are either not going to pick him up or run him at power forward to be super duper toxic. So it's going to affect price of guys like Josh Smith probably. I mean, I can't imagine Dwight Howard's Dwight Howard's release is going to be like gas or anything, but it should be all right. Like, it should be usable enough depending how good he is, like the rest of his cards. So I don't know. Like, not hurting the price of Kareem. I mean, maybe we'll see a bunch of Kareems get put up, but Kareem is such a different player and there's so many of them already that I'm not sure that his price is really going to be affected necessarily by Dwight. I mean, we saw some get put up. A lot of cards are going to be cheaper, aside from like DeMar DeRozan, because people know the impending tsunami of content that we're going to get as far as like overpowered stuff. So a lot of people are going to put up their top tier cards like probably tonight or tomorrow to try to get max value for them. So it's possible that you can come up on some cards if you really wanted to. It's just, I'm not sure that it's a good idea, because I feel like, you know, power scaling is probably going to be blown out of proportion or blown out of the water within the next week or so. So I don't know. It's tough to say. Is it going to be a point in time relatively soon where there's going to be pink diamonds for buyout? I actually think so. Yeah, I do. Someone like Draymond Green, or who's another pink diamond that could be buyout that isn't yet? Is Dominique Wilkins a buyout? Yeah, Dominique is, but I don't really count him. He's a week one. You expect that stuff. But guys like Chris Middleton, Draymond Green, Blake Griffin, if he isn't already, Bosch probably, like guys like that will start to be buyouts in the near future, because I think they are going to start dropping packable ovals here shortly. Then again, we haven't gotten packable 96s, I believe. I mean, Tim Thomas, technically speaking, is Magic a 96. I mean, Magic's a 95, so it's possible they don't even drop packable opals. But even if they don't, the pink diamonds that they drop are going to be so cracked that I think we're going to start to see some falling of prices relatively soon. So as always, it's been your friend Cheap Loots. I'll be up way too early opening packs tomorrow. I won't pull Dwight, but maybe I'll get Karis LeVert. You know, that's about as good as I can ask for. Anyways, have a good night, you guys. Peace.